it's Terry. I'm back from what should be Quilt Market with one of probably the kindest people I have ever met in my entire life, Diane Magidson of SewBatik.
Oh, you mean Bruce? Just kidding.
Bruce is a really good hugger, which I think like when you get hugged by Bruce, you get full on hugged. Like he does not leave anything back. I suspect you know that though. Right.
Yeah.
That's how we all should be hugging. So Diane, what's new?
Oh my gosh. That's like an open question. But first of all,
I know, but you have fabric.
Yes. And a lot of fabric, a lot of batik fabric. And behind me, you'll see these are the backings. That's our collection of backings. And if, you know, had we been at market, that's always our back wall where we show all of the swatches of our 115-inch wide fabric. And it is 115, by the way, which is very wide and extremely helpful. We actually sell, I would say, 3¼ to 3½ yards most of the time, because you're almost square then, because you're just that much wider than 108. So I guess that's not new. We've had that for a long time since we started our company, but that's what's behind us anyway, is the backing. And
what does, just curious, you know, as of this recording, what is that selling per yard?
$24.50.
$24.50.
Yes. Yep. $24.50.
Okay.
And you'll see all of that on our website, you know. And, you know, I have to honestly say, and I think I have some down here, but we did this a while ago. We did these double borders.
Yes, you did.
And we have newer ones now with new designs.
You do?
Yep. And I'm just
going to
show you
that one.
Just really, this is the black that really shows the design, but it's a little bit different this time because there's an all over motif that makes up the middle. And then there's the border on each selvage edge. So
that is beautiful.
You start with a border, and then it's 95 inches of all over motif. And then there's another border. And we have all these different colorways, which are kind of fun. The red is really good.
The purple.
Yes, that is our Merlot. It's actually more Merlot than it is purple. It's like a eggplant. So like that.
Give me.
Wish I could just like hand it to you. But you know, the reason I bring these up as part of our backings is, of course, they're backings. They're cotton. They're 115 inches wide. So you can put them on your machine. You can center a quilt. You can off center it so that your border is at the foot or is at the head. You can do whatever you want to do from a quilting perspective. But we have enjoyed putting them in our home decorating collection of projects. So, and I wish I had you know, you can't bring your home into the office necessarily unless you set up this whole thing, like a display, and we don't have that.
It's so weird. You can send me pictures and I will put them with the blog posts that I do.
Okay,
so
perfect. Okay, so we made, like, for example, shower curtains, where you have the border is along the bottom of the shower curtain, and the other border is kind of like a ruffle going across the top. And any excess fabric you can use on a wall hanging or to trim your hand towels or tea towels and have everything match. So there's we have that on our website. We have duvet covers where you miter the corners so it looks amazing, with matching pillow shams. And I just think that there's so many ways to use fabric with a border on it. And since the border is on both sides, and if you only need a portion of it, you can actually use both borders with less fabric. So there's a lot of we quilters love math.
Oh, yes.
Or hate
Yes,
math.
we do.
One or the other. We either love it or we hate it. But it really makes it easy to use the fabric in its fullest. And tablecloths, we've used those for tablecloths, and then any excess fabric that's left over. Dinner napkins or cocktail napkins that you just simply either do a raw edge on or use your serger and put a zigzag on, or a finished edge on it, whatever it happens to be. So
sweet.
yeah,
well, you know Debbie Brown, right?
Who doesn't know Debbie Brown?
You know, Debbie has a cutie pattern for napkins.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Debbie, I have to call you.
Call her.
Okay.
Call her today.
I did not know that. I had no clue.
You had no, yes. You know, Debbie designs quilt patterns.
That I know. And I have seen a whole bunch of the cutie ones. They're so much fun with the fat eighths.
The pattern is called, and you talk just long enough for it to pop into my brain, serviettes.
Oh, okay.
And interestingly enough, it requires two fabrics. So, it's double-sided. So it's a little bit more durable. But with your border print, like, you could have so much fun with that.
Yeah. No, and the border itself is about, I don't know, it's like 10 inches or so. I mean, usable is probably 9.5 inches right there. So.
No, but you have enough fabric as a new long armor. You have enough solid fabric, solid color on the other side of that to make it really usable. So,
no, I know. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you thought this through when you designed it.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, the one other thing that I am going to do, because besides the batik cotton, we really, as most people know, jumped full into garments with our batik rayon and our batik jersey knit and some of our other cotton fabrics as well. And one of the things that I'm going to do is put this on my long arm and quilt it up and make quilted jackets and quilted garments out of it.
Yes.
So this is going to actually be an amazing long jacket sometime this fall.
I can totally see that. And if you have it ready for road, it'll be just perfect.
Oh, deadlines.
You and me both.
I have a lot of deadlines for road. So yes, there's a lot of stuff to get done.
So you should just add one more thing.
Right. I am working on this jacket though. This is my first quilted jacket pattern.
Oh, you know what? I've heard great things about Grain Line Studio patterns.
Yep. They're wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, yep, that's what I'm going to work on for that. So,
okay. Now you've had the rayons for a really long time.
Yeah, probably about 10 years or so now.
Okay. And it's 5 years ago that you added the knits, or 4?
4. I think 4.
Okay. It was Portland. So I think it was Portland, right?
Yeah, I think that, actually it was.
Because I walked in and I went, oh, and I think this is something that I say about you guys all the time. Oh, this is brilliant because garments are going to come back.
Yes. Well, and did you know that you can quilt batik rayon and you can quilt batik jersey knit and you can quilt all of this stuff. So quilted garments aren't going to be just our cotton. We're going to try and do a lot of different things and a lot of different testing with each one of the substrates to see what kind of batting or interfacing we want to use with each one and what kind of thread really works the best and how they last after they're washed and everything. So we're going to do a lot of testing with that. So we're hoping to do a program where you can custom select your fabrics and we will quilt it and send it to you.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Well, why not? Right?
No.
So we're excited about that.
Well, you should be. I mean, you just took for garment makers, you just took a big, fearful chunk right out of them using the garments, the fabric that they want to use.
Right.
In the way that they want to use it. So
now the other thing is that it's not just for garments, it can be accessories, you know, Annie's bags, you know, anybody's quilted accessory, purse, whatever it happens to be too. So, you know, coordinating a cotton bag with a rayon garment that has the same and similar look to it is kind of cool without being too matchy, you know.
We've met, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it's hilarious that we both have shades of
green
on. We took, just for the audience, we so totally did not plan this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, I was gonna say I have fabric here from you, and I don't know what I did with it. Well, I actually have a lot of your fabric.
Yes, you do. You do sew with a lot of our fabric.
Well, not for nothing. Like I go into your booth and I just want like everything.
Maybe some of our gradations, perhaps.
Oh yes, I've had that. I actually have some of that within eyesight.
This grouping, I'm going to do.
Are you going to do that in the 115?
No. You want to know why?
Yes.
First of all, it's we've tested it.
Okay.
And to get a consistent look and feel of the grade as a gradation is very difficult. And at times doesn't look quite so good. And it almost ends up with the same concern that people have with a border, because where do you put where do you put your quilt top on that big piece of fabric? Because nothing is consistent. It's not machine printed. It's not digitized. It's hand dyed. And so when we did the stripes were magnificent because it was a stripe and it was, you know, very random. And so it looked fantastic. But everything has its life cycle. And so we don't have the stripes anymore, even though people ask us for those all the time, as well as the 108-inch wide flannel, the hand-dyed flannel that we have. We get that request a lot as well. But some of the things you just have to move on. But the 115-inch, let me tell you, if we could do it where you don't have any of the distorted like whites and darks and whites, it's really a technique that is difficult to do with that wide of fabric. So, but I'm going to make something out of these right now because it's fall. And so we need some really, really fun projects out of our fall shades. So that's what I'm going to do next.
Well, actually, I made something for you out of one of your fabrics, but as a quilter, I love those gradations because either I can, for the odd time that I actually piece anything, I can get just the right color or place the color where I want it. But as somebody who simply quilts, I can play with color on your gradations in ways that I can't play with color anywhere else. So like I can show quilters how color moves across, like one color can start really playing with you across the entire surface.
Right.
In over the, you know, in a relatively short amount of time with very little effort on my part.
Right. And that's the piece that I have to learn is color. I mean, you know, I can look at color for garments or for putting together colors on a patchwork quilt and things like that. But I'm a new quilter, like a long arm quilter. Even though I like to have fun, my goal is to bury my stitching so no one sees it. It's terrible. No. I know. But see, that's where you're like so amazing is just showcasing and finding the right designs and just basically having fun. And putting color together and just having fun. And that's what I appreciate about that. And that's where I have to just sort of, I have to let loose and kind of do more of that myself. But
Do you want to know how I started out doing this nonsense?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh, look at the color wheel.
Okay.
Yes.
So shameless plug. This is C&T's Studio Color Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And 100 years ago, I haven't always had that on my wall. Like it's always in my head, but
Right.
I found a small color wheel, and C&T has a new small one out. Have you seen it? It's
Yep.
adorable. Okay. So you know how color works in terms of how it looks good on somebody.
Right.
And most of us will go for the same shade, either lighter or darker, to kind of bury the thread.
Right.
Well, you can use the color wheel in the same way that you would use it for pulling the color together for a quilt top, to create a dynamic look with the quilting on your quilt.
Right.
So, kind of looking at this again, you could take, one of the colors, go across, find the complementary color, and then either split the complement or find another, you can
Right.
find the color solutions that will help the quilting stand out a little bit more.
Right.
And if you're doing that, if you're going to start quilting fabric for people, having somebody quilt fabric for people, something like doing either complementary colors or split complementary colors, where you're creating just a little bit more something there, might actually be a really great way for quilters and garment sewers to become a little bit more comfortable with the layering of pattern, which is essentially what I do. Like I layer pattern all over the place, and I hadn't actually figured it out that way. But I mean, like even with this,
exactly,
this was, and a lot of it is seriously just opening my thread drawer, understanding that my thread stash rivals my fabric stash, and I'm not sure which one is winning at the moment. But I sometimes I will just open the drawer, pull out some random spool of thread, and then just go see what happens.
Right.
So I challenge you to a duel, Diane.
I accept the challenge.
Woo! All right, so pick one of your gradations.
Okay.
Just pick one at random. That's the one that you're going to get a 1.25 yards. You're going to pin it up and get it ready to quilt.
Yep.
And then pull out your color wheel and start grabbing split complementary colorways.
Okay. I'm going to do that. I can do that.
Woohoo! This will be exciting.
It will be exciting because I need to do that. I need to do more of that. And I think that will help with whatever the project happens to be, whether it be a garment.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
This is Adobe.
Yeah, because it's orange.
Yep. And it's perfect for this season.
Yes, it is. And it would actually look really good on you.
Yeah, but
not with that green though.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to have to make a jacket out of gradation. Oh. Okay. It is fun to never stop my list of things that I should be trying to do and then never get anything done.
You've seen the inside of my head then.
Yeah. No, but there is so much to do, and coming out, I think that's one of the things for all of us in this, we haven't been traveling. So the not traveling world is trying to interact with people socially and just through conversations about what else is new out there. What are they seeing out there? What's missing? That's the piece about going to market and going to all the festivals that is difficult, because we get a lot of our inspiration and a lot of our excitement on things when we talk to our customers and our friends all the time, wherever we go. And so that has been a very different thing, is to kind of pinpoint where we headed with something new, what's going on out there. So.
Yes. And I will say as well, I've had a weird 2 years. So two moves in 1 year, and living in a hotel for 4.5 months, and not being able to do any, and all that other stuff. And like the creative part of me is finally starting to emerge again. And I'm like, oh, I remember how to quilt now.
Yeah.
But this, as you were talking, I was kind of reminded of, like, before the internet, like, how did we get our inspiration? We really got our inspiration from those in-person interactions. And I think like, and they, sometimes they were just completely random.
Right.
Like meeting you and Bruce was completely random, except you guys had batiks, so I was all over your booth anyway.
Wouldn't leave us alone.
I know, right? I've even gone out to dinner with Bruce.
Anyway.
Oh, and helped you with booth tear down.
Yep. And he's tried to steal the fabric.
Oh yeah. I'll drop that picture in the show notes when it gets. Yes, that has got to be one of my favorite pictures, because you're like smiling sweetly, and I'm like,
wasn't that in Portland too?
That was in Portland. Yes, it was.
A lot of stuff happens in Portland, I think.
I know. Salt and straw happens in Portland.
Yeah.
Did you have salt and straw?
No.
It's ice cream.
No, never had any.
Oh, we have to get you back to Portland.
You have to go back to Portland.
We'll get you there.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So when you go to Road to California, are you teaching?
I'm supposed to say yes, but I haven't actually come out. I mean, I have to honestly tell you, hopefully by the time, I will.
What
I'm just nervous about it, because I'm not, I mean, even though I do educational things on YouTube and I don't know, I just, teaching in front of people and with people, I've only done that once and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just making sure that I'm doing something that's not repetitive of somebody else and all that. I overthink all this. So
okay, all right, first of all, I'm going to tell you right now, cut that nonsense out.
I know.
In part, Diane, because there is something that you bring to the party that nobody else is going to do. And you're going to be teaching. Are you going to do garments?
Yeah, I am going to. Well,
all right.
I'm going to teach at ISAF.
Which is the show right before it.
Which is the show right before the traditional Road to California Quilt Show.
Right. And here's the thing, Diane. First of all, you're going to be fine. Secondly, you're going to bring an approach that nobody else is going to bring.
Right.
And even if you're teaching from a commercial pattern, you're going to be guiding people through a process that you've done before and help them be more comfortable in that. Yeah. So you're going to be fine.
I'm going to have fun.
Yep. You're going to have.
It's all about having fun.
Right. And not for nothing, it is like, teaching is very much, or at least for me, it's very much like creating a quilt, where the way that I create, it's kind of on the fly and I come up with solutions as I'm going along. And sometimes, don't tell my students, but sometimes I really do make things up, but it works. It's partly because my brain is always thinking about stuff and it's like, oh, okay, these are going to be the words that's going to help this person do it. But when I'm quilting, I'm looking at a quilt across the way here that it was supposed to be one thing. It turned out to be something completely else, but it is and it ended up being quilted completely differently than I thought. So,
right.
Yeah. So you have the opportunity to teach with, you can do rayon or knit or cotton, right, and it could be quilted. Like, so right, you know, and if you're doing a quilted jacket, you can have it reversible.
Mhm.
So is it going to be a jacket?
Well, you have to see. You have to wait and see. And register for the ISAF newsletter and get all the information.
Okay. For our friends, I will put the link.
Okay, perfect.
I will put the link.
Perfect. Yeah.
It'll be in the show. It'll be in the show notes. It'll be in the show notes. So, do you have new colors coming?
We always are creating new motifs and new colorways. We have a bunch that we created a whole boatload of strike-offs of different colors and motifs that we believe we need to introduce into the cotton collection. We look at everything kind of, is this more of a quilting combination of color and motif, or is it something that would be appropriate for garments? Or, you know, because there's some colors that are just not wearable, in my opinion. And so we do get very selective about that. I mean,
Right.
yes, you shouldn't, you know, dictate what other people wear, but if it's not going to sell, it's not going to sell. And so we do have a lot of new things that are coming. They'll be here in time for the January shows. And so we're excited about that. So there'll be a lot of things that we'll introduce, and we've been introducing throughout the, you know, the year and a half that we've all been at home, you know, new products and new colors and new ideas, and a lot of rayon border batiks, and, you know, just different things that we try to put into a garment and showcase it with, you know, the different colorways and stuff like that for people. So, yeah.
Speaking of your rayons, would they do well for curtains?
Yes.
Especially those border.
They absolutely would. I think your environment, though, dictates whether or not they have to be lined or not lined, and how you're using them, whether it's a, you know, day to day, or is it a decoration, or how is it being used? But we do, we have a lot of people who will use cotton as well, but you know, if it's not a sun facing window that's 100% sun every day, and, you know, in California, rayon is fine. It's absolutely fine. And we have a lot of people that will say, well, how many yards do I need if I'm making this kind of a curtain or a drape or a, you know, valance or whatever it happens to be. So you can.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, it can be.
Okay. And of all your collections, do you have a favorite fabric or favorite design?
I would say, boy, that's a hard one.
It's like asking you to pick your favorite kid, isn't it?
Right, because we have like 150 rayons and 50 or so different jerseys. I have to say this. As you can probably tell from that garment behind me, and I'm making another kind of a cardigan for this fall here now from Itch to Stitch, which is a fantastic designer. She's fantastic. I do a lot of blue. So this is the first time I've ever made anything out of green. So, and I'm wearing a jersey knit. And our friend Richard made this necklace for me. So.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, like, how much stretch does this have? Well, yours, not mine. I'm showing you.
Our jersey knit is 72 inches wide, first of all. So it is quite wide. And I actually use it on quilts for quilt backing as well, because it's really snuggable. And it's only a two-way stretch. So there isn't really, if you're going to use it in quilting, there really isn't a worry about it moving too much. If you keep your design, your quilting design, a little bit, you know, like kind of rule of thumb, don't make it so tight that it won't move on you. It has to be a bigger design, but it is the most comfortable thing imaginable. And I would say our jersey has about 20% stretch.
Okay.
So when I'm planning a garment that is meant for, like this particular one here is the Foz top by Itch to Stitch. She describes this and has written the pattern for 50% stretch. So a four-way stretch. Okay. I disregard all of that. I don't follow rules.
Now I understand so much.
Yes. Okay. So I like design. I like what this looks like because I think it's a basic, attractive top.
Mhm.
And same with the tamarack jacket. Okay. But there's ways, and I think the thing for myself that I educate people on is take the fabric that you have at home, even if this were a woven, you just have to adjust your size because it's not going to stretch. And there's ways to do that and still have the exact same pattern fit immaculately without it being 50% stretch and required that way. So there's ways to adjust things. And so I'm making this, and I think everybody's going to be shocked when I post that I make this out of this is what I'm making today. So out of our jersey knit, and it's going to be a simple, I'm going to wear it as a cardigan, not as a top. So like it's going to be my new long sleeve winter cardigan.
Now, would you have, well, apparently you have a really good skill set in terms of understanding your fabric and what it does.
Yep.
With your border prints on your cotton batiks, can you do, I know it does not have that
no
kind
stretch,
of stretch, but
right.
would you still be able to adjust the fabric requirements so that the cotton would fit in that garment? Okay.
It will. It's just that you also have to think about the drape itself.
Okay.
And my only concern is the stretch points of the pattern. That's what I look for. So like, right. So you have to adjust for whatever your body measurements are, but also your elbow and your arm. And this is wanting a 4-way stretch because it is a very drapey and it's a tighter fitting garment. And
right, okay.
I probably I could make that out of rayon, but I worry a little bit about the cotton because there is no movement with cotton.
Right.
So whereas with the cotton, I'd make something like this jacket,
okay.
which yes, it kind of says it wants, quilted fabric, which is the reason I got this because we're going to be doing quilted fabric, but it can be boxier and you can wear something underneath it. So if I wanted to, I can quilt the inside of this with rayon and have anything slide in, because the minute you put like a jersey knit or a cotton against a cotton, things just don't move very nicely. So you want to be comfortable as well. So those are the types of things that I'm going to be trying to test out and work out. And, maybe we'll get different lining fabrics that aren't even a batik. So it doesn't always have to be a batik. So, yeah.
Wait.
I mean, it does, but
I was gonna say, wait a minute here. You are so batik.
I know, but the linings, if it's not going to be a reversible, then you don't have to save your precious yardage for showing and not for hiking.
Right. Yes. So yeah, I can.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Says the non-garment sewer.
No,
I tried garment sewing and I just don't understand. Admittedly, I don't understand body shape well enough to get things to fit.
It's not my education, but it's a passion. So for me, it's learning how to adjust first myself, and then understanding how to alter and how to fit and things like that. So for me, it's just it's a joy. And that's what I initially started doing when I was a little girl, was sewing my own clothes. And then went off and got an education in something completely different. And then met Bruce. So
okay, what was your education in?
Oh, computer science. So I'm a techie. Yeah.
You're one of the smart ones.
No. But just doing different like website stuff. And I worked as a consultant in a large organizations, helping them with their distribution and logistics systems. So that was my background, was all of that. And then Bruce with the fabric background, it just brought me back into a world of creativity and design of, fabrics and that has worked out really well. So I still do all of our website stuff, but I also, we're able to design and cut and sew and do, which has really been fun. It's really great.
Well, you recently, and by recently, like in the last 8 months, right, did a website overhaul, didn't you?
Like a month and a half or a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Complete.
So recently.
Well, yes. And that never stops. There's, as you know, with technology, nothing ever stops. And there's always new apps and there's new ways of looking at things and new ways to show things to your customers and your audience. And so that is ever changing. Crazy. It's hard to stay up on some of that stuff. So
yeah, there's a point where I know, at least for me, there's a point where I've kind of stopped trying to keep up with all the cool kids and just sort of
do your thing,
splash around in my own puddle and just be happy.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. So your next show is Road.
Yep.
Where else are you going to be?
We haven't decided yet.
Interesting.
Yeah. One show at a time.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, and you're selling online?
Yep. SewBatik.com. And so all of our fabrics and projects and fashion duos that we do. So our fashion duos are basically, it's like a quilt kit, but for garments. So it's a pattern, it's the notions that go along with it, and it's the fabric that you choose, everything in a package so that you can start, except we haven't started doing the thread yet, and we might be doing the thread as well. But everything that you need to create your garment is what we call a fashion duo. And so all of that is on our website, plus our home deck and projects and all of that. So yeah.
What has been your favorite home deck project?
I would say I think for myself, the most creative thing, it was a challenge for me to do this. Out of our border batik was to make our tablecloth for an oval table.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want any gathering. I didn't want any tucks or pleats or anything. I wanted it to be like just smooth. Well, you can't do that in the round. So something has to kind of change. And so I ended up creating a design that fits your oval or your round, whatever it happens to be. And then it's more like just the whole design process of trying to figure something out and make everything fit, and then creating accents with it to make more of a look in a room. I really enjoy doing. So it's not just the one piece of fabric that you create into something, it's like the whole look. So I do enjoy that a lot.
And at some point, I know you had a brick and mortar. Do you still have that?
We do. We're in the same place. We still have it. We have not reopened for customers to walk in, simply because it became my playhouse and it's a mess. So we have to kind of regroup and get it all into a position for people to come through. But right now it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But the whole front area is this studio that we put up to do projects and to do tapings and to do things, and so that kind of is encroaching on the other side of this screen is the store with the racks and the product and stuff. And so it just needs a little work. So we'll get it open.
Maybe don't change anything.
It's working.
Yeah, I was going to say it's totally working, because what I've seen on your Facebook page has been really inspiring. So if if it's inspiring me, as though I'm so hard to inspire, but I have loved your social media over this last year and a half, almost 2 years. I've loved how you have been putting out the fashion duos and how you've been doing the Facebook lives and how you've been posting finished garments, and I'm like, how the heck does she sew so fast? But if it, for you, garment sewing is like breathing.
I mean, yeah, I really enjoy it, and I like a challenge, and I think it's just, it's like you and, sitting down with your quilt sandwich and a thread, and just, you get lost in it, and that's what happens. And all the while just trying to make sure that I stay on track with other things, but I'll stay up at night and just keep sewing because I really truly enjoy it. So that's part of it. I think that's what we all should be doing, is enjoying what we're doing. And so that part of it I do enjoy. And I took my long arm, which I really wasn't using. I've had it for years, and brought it into the office. So it's here, and it's now computerized and upgraded, and I'm having some fun with it. So.
And what do you have for a long arm?
I have an APQS Lenny, and so I put the quilt path on it, and we had to update the table and do all of that. And so it's fun, but I'm also finding it, I don't know, I'm finding it a lot more fun to actually do my own manual quilting as well. So that I don't know, I just enjoy both, whether it be computerized or not. So plus I'm just learning the computerized portion of it, but
yeah, but you're a computer geek.
Well, I had to retrofit the whole thing myself. Like, I had to open up the back and put the whole thing, the new board in it, and do all this stuff. It was fun. It's fun, but I love it. I really absolutely love it. And it's good that it's being used here, when I can during the day, and stuff like that. So it's no longer an ironing board cover.
I don't know anything in my house that looks like that.
Well, yeah.
So. Yeah, no, nothing. There's nothing in my house that, yeah.
So I'm trying to clean up my sewing room and get that back into a pseudo sewing room, office, and bedroom. So everything's kind of changing. So it's good.
Oh, you have a guest bedroom. At some point I'll come visit you.
Good.
And pet all of your fabric.
Good.
And rub Bruce's head. Which I'm sure he'll love.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything else that you'd like to add this afternoon?
I don't think so. This has been really a lot of fun, just to talk about, what we've been up to, and share some of our little things and what's coming down the line. And I just, more quilts, more ideas. I think I really like doing smaller projects when it comes to quilts, not huge projects. So I do a lot of the table runners and things like that work with our home deck. And so, garments, and just more rayon ideas, and more jersey knit things, and trying to work more with different sizes too. Like we just recently did a post on 2 little girls' dresses out of cotton, and doing trying to just design for all shapes and sizes of people. And that's the piece about not being at shows that is really hard, is just seeing what people want. And so we're finding it other ways, though, because we have a lot of social media friends that give us a lot of ideas, and what about this, or what about that, and that is good to hear. So hopefully that continues.
Oh, it will. It will. I think quilters have responded in letting companies know, companies that they really enjoy know what they would like to see from them.
Right.
So,
right.
And, I know sometimes it's a little hard to see interaction on our social media because, it just is what it is. But the fun part is, when it's not just about when somebody likes or comments, but when we see them go, oh, hey, I did this as a result of something that I saw. So
exactly. It's great to hear it.
Yeah. And you have this beautiful black batik that is just screaming for me to quilt it.
Yes. Tuxedo, solid black.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's solid, but there's a little variegation in.
It's hand dyed.
It is clear, but you know what? As somebody who digs into color, like it's
Uh-huh.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like to me, it is just the perfect background to play with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to
So.
share what you're going to do with it.
Oh, you'll probably see it at Road.
Good. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, which means I have to finish the prototype and then load that on the frame. And I am slightly scared to do that.
No, we have more.
Yes, yes, you do. And I know where your website is. I really should just leave my credit card on file with you. Yeah, yes. Okay. Thank you, Diane, for joining.
Oh,
And
this
to
has
all
been
our friends,
great. Thank you.
to all our friends, please go visit SewBatik.com. I will put some photos and some links to where they're going to be, what Diane's going to be teaching in January at the new garment show, for better or worse. And I will have links to her Facebook page and all her other social media. Oh, actually, all their other social media, because Bruce is somewhere about the premises.
Yeah.
He's over there.
Way
He's
over
like
there.
in the building.
Yep.
And he didn't come say hi.
He's working.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Please do visit their websites and enjoy the next show that they're at. Thanks.